Can you speak to us about specific examples of allyship or leadership behavior that we can be engaging in going forward as it relates to disability inclusion and accessibility to actually shift, disrupt barriers, to interrupt inequities, to cultivate greater belonging, to create more opportunity for advancement? Specific things that we can be doing today for those joining us.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to take this question in sort of two ways. The first, we'll look at allyship, and the second, we'll look at leadership and then how they kind of come together. For allyship, I always love to describe it as allyship isn't a self described identity. You don't get to declare yourself an ally like you are walking down the runway in Calvin Klein's Fall 2024 show. You're an ally because your actions indicate that you exist in solidarity with communities that don't enjoy the same forms of privilege you do. So you're going to use your voice to uplift the experiences of others. You're going to speak out when you see someone being harmed. You're going to hold your organization's leadership accountable to promises they've made to build a more inclusive organization. So that's what I always say. Allyship isn't a declarative identity. It is an identity that's informed by the actions you take every single day. And so for me, what that means in terms of allyship is there's three principal branches for me. The first is learn, the second is amplify, and the third is act. So what learn is what is the work you can do individually, attending sessions like this, reading books, navigating resources, watching films, to learn about the experiences of people with disabilities and the ways they navigate the world and the barriers that we face. Second, amplify. How can you amplify the voices of people with disabilities in the workplace in the world? So we don't always have to be the ones highlighting when an event is inaccessible. We don't always have to be the ones highlighting when accommodations processes take too long. We don't always have to be the one highlighting when our benefits providers aren't actually providing benefits that support us in navigating the world. So how can you amplify our voices and share those perspectives so we don't always have to? And the third is act. Now that you've learned about our experiences, now that you've amplified our work in community, what actions are you going to take tangibly that leverage your privilege to make change happen in the world? So, are you going to speak up at a meeting? Are you going to meet directly with leadership? Are you going to volunteer to work on a committee? Because so often we're asked to volunteer on the issues impacting us. It would be so wonderful to have allies there. So, that's for me how we leverage allyship. Leaders, it actually brings me to something you've taught me a lot, Ritu, which is belonging is sort of this fundamental human need where we feel included, valued, and heard. And the research that you've highlighted a lot in your work too is that our direct managers and leaders in an organization play the most direct role in whether or not we feel a sense of belonging. And so for me, if leaders play that fundamental role, then leaders also have a responsibility to not just champion the DEI work the DEI team is doing, but advance that work in their own ways. So leaders have access to tables we don't have access to. So are you bringing up the creation of an accessibility strategy at that table? As you're doing investment planning for the year ahead or headcount planning, are you making sure that you're getting robust diversity data about all dimensions of diversity, including disability, and making a hiring plan and a partnership plan to get people with disabilities not just in internships or entry level roles, but all the way through to leadership? As a leader, are you making sure that there are moments to consider and redesign policies? Are you putting resources into platform accessibility? So, as leaders, I say you have access to places and spaces that allow you to do this work in a seamless way. And allyship for us in the leadership context is leveraging that power and positionality to make change happen.